Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, number 68, the show where I give you a look back at some of the biggest stories from the past week and let you know my opinion on them. If you want to read more about these stories, come up with your own opinions, let me know what you think I got wrong. In the show notes down below, I'll put a link to each story. We'll love to hear from you, what you think we should have added, what we got wrong. I always love hearing from you. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, it really does help us. And hopefully we can help you break free from the high cost of cable TV and still watch the shows you want to watch. If you've been around a while, ring that notification bell so you don't miss one of our daily updates Monday through Friday and the weekly recap shows, plus our Cord Cutting live Q&As, reviews, tips, guides, and more. So ring that notification bell so you never miss one of our videos. All right, first, before we get to the news, hey, we have a new writer at Cord Cars News. Jess has joined the team. You've probably seen her work in the past. She's been writing for us as a freelancer for about a year now, posting a story here or there. Now she's joined the team full-time, so you're going to start seeing stories from her all the time and really help us expand our news coverage, free us up to do more things like YouTube videos like this and some more in-depth stories. So give a big welcome to Jess. We're very excited to have her on the team. She's already been a great contributor with a lot of content. So check her out, say hello, leave a nice comment, let her know that you are welcome her to the Cord Cutting News family. So let's continue into the news of the day. First, hey, ton of Roku TVs on sale, including for the very first time the TCL 6 Series Roku TVs. The 75-inch version is $300 off. Never been on sale before. I'll put a link down below if you've been looking to get a new TV, a new Roku TV. TCL has a bunch of them on sale right now at a great price. So check that out down in the show notes down below. The first big news of the week was probably some of the most influential in the long term in the world of cord cutting. Disney has closed their deal to buy a vast majority of Fox. Now, I've talked about this many times, and I wanted to kind of go over a few things about this I think is going to be very important to the world of cord cutting. First, the Fox broadcast stations, Fox News, the Fox FS1, FS2, have stayed with the old Fox family. There's a new company called Fox Corp, which manages all that. So the TV stations, at least the local TV stations, I should say, FX and others went to Disney. But the local ones stayed with Fox and a lot of the sports and news departments there. Now, what is most important here for cord cutting in the immediate future is Disney now owns a majority of Hulu. Disney now has a 60% control of Hulu. They had 30%. They bought Fox's 30%. The only other voting part out there is Comcast with 30%. So Disney owns twice as many votes as Fox, and AT&T is a non-voting owner of 10% that they acquired when they closed on Turner, or Time Warner, now Turner Television. So keep a close eye on this. It's very interesting to see what happens. Disney has already talked about the idea of someday down the road when they launch Disney Plus offering a bundle. If you get Disney Plus, Hulu, and maybe even ESPN Plus, you will be able to get a discount on that price if you bundle them all together. Of course, they've said they intend to continue to sell them individually. Disney Plus will be their more kid-friendly focused service. Hulu will be their more adult-focused streaming service, which will continue on the services they offer now. So keep a close eye on this, but this could be one of the stories that happened this week that will have the greatest impact on the world of cord cutting going forward. So I'm very interested to see what Disney does with Hulu. Will they take the family content out of Hulu? Will they leave some family content in Hulu when Disney Plus launches? We won't know for a long time. That won't become clear until late this year when Disney Plus launches, and maybe not even this year. It may be until sometime next year when we really get an idea of what Hulu will become now that Disney owns them, and what the future of the streaming deals they have at other places are. All right, moving along, and let me know, what do you think about Disney owning Hulu? Does that concern you? What are the possibilities that excite you about Disney owning Hulu? Leave me a comment, let me know, I'd love to hear from you. Now the next story, this one just broke late this week. Comcast has launched a $5 a month streaming service. Now they're calling this a streaming service. It's really like a streaming player. It's effectively just like a Roku, Fire TV, or Apple TV that I got behind me that will now allow you for $5 a month to access a bunch of content. But your Fire TV, your Rokus, your Apple TVs have a lot more content, have everything this device offers and more. Comcast seems to be pushing this to continue their model of having you rent devices as a cord cutter, just like you did when you were with cable. Maybe if you don't have the money to go buy a $30 Roku up front and $5 a month sounds like a better deal to you, maybe that's a great option. But for $60 a month, you could buy a $30 Roku a lot cheaper. Very interested at this move as a leased streaming player. Will they come out with additional features? Will there be something here that they haven't announced that'll make this worth it down the road? My question to you is, what would you pay if you were to lease a streaming player? What would you want to see in it? What kind of features? Because for now, all the free content, everything they're promoting is all stuff the Roku's, Apple's TVs, and more do. It's all coming from like Tubi, YouTube, and other places that are readily available on other devices. And the big thing is it's missing live TV streaming services. If you wanted to stream ESPN, you have to get that through the Comcast TV bundles on your new Comcast branded streaming player. Stuff like YouTube TV, DirecTV Now, and so forth are not available on it. To me, this just feels like Comcast does not understand cord cutting. They don't understand what cord cutters want. So I'd love to know what you think of this move. I'd love to know what your opinions on it. To me, this just doesn't make sense. I have a full article down below about how Comcast just clearly does not understand cord cutting. And I really just don't think Comcast gets it. So leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'll love to hear from you on that. And again, read the story. It's very mind-boggling. The more I read about Comcast's cord-cutting strategy with this new service, the more I want to scratch my head. Because at first it was pushed as an aggregator, like, oh, hey, we'll take all this content, neatly put it in one spot. And the more you read, the more it just sounds like, hey, we're going to have the apps, right? You could launch YouTube and watch content there, but it's not like they're actually aggregating it in an Apple TV-esque or a Roku channel-esque system. But maybe we're wrong. Maybe that will come down the road. All right, next story, and this one I really want to hear from you. According to a new study from Parks Associates, a wildly highly respected research group, they say the average cost of streaming for most cord cutters has not gone up in the last 3 years. What they're saying is, as there are more and more expensive services, cord cutters are cutting out cheaper ones, and some are skipping them altogether. We've already known for some time now that the vast majority of cord cutters don't subscribe to live TV streaming services. The very expensive YouTube TV, DirecTV Now, Hulu Live, and more actually represent less than half of all cord cutters. There's rumored 30 to 35 million cord cutters in the United States households, with only about 7 million of them subscribing to a live TV streaming service. So my question to you is, in the last few years, has your cord cutting cost gone up, gone down, or stayed about the same? Another question is, even if your cost has gone up, have you ever said, hey, I want that more expensive service, and now I'm going to drop something else? Have you ever taken advantage of that? I'd love to know your opinions, because I know I've done that. I know when HBO Now, when I get that for Silicon Valley, I will often drop something else and rotate them in and out. So my question to you is, do you do that? I know if it wasn't for having to subscribe to them for the business purposes, I would not be subscribing to Cord Cutters News or to live TV streaming services this time of year. I'd probably get it during football season, and that's about it. So leave me a comment. Let me know. I'll love to hear from you on what you think about these. This article from Parks Associates that says it's really not changing. All right, so when I'm releasing this, we are 2 days away from when Apple is expected to announce the new Apple streaming service. Now, what this will look like is very unknown. Apple is reportedly spending $1 billion on original content, but the word is they intend to give it away for free. According to all reports, they are desperately trying to get partners like HBO Now, Showtime, and others to come and allow them to sell their services through the new Apple streaming service in an Amazon Channels-esque service. Netflix has come out and said, no, we're not doing that officially. No interest in being in Apple's new streaming service. Why? Apple takes a cut of what you make. It sounds a lot like that Apple is moving in the direction of more of an Amazon Channels, but they're going to offer free original content that they produce in order to entice you to use it. Because right now, Amazon Channels is not just about subscribing, because you've been able to do that on iTunes for some time. You launch certain apps like YouTube TV, you subscribe through the iTunes on YouTube TV. This seems to be more about creating a user interface a lot like Amazon Channels, where it's all in one spot. It's all very easy, very smooth to subscribe, add, drop stuff. You don't have to first install the YouTube TV app, then subscribe to the service. You can do it and then install the YouTube TV app, or maybe not even have the YouTube TV app. Maybe just watch it like the Amazon app, watch it right through the Apple's streaming app instead of needing to use a third-party app. Seems like Apple wants to be an aggregator, like the Comcast deal, of a single spot to manage all that. Of course, Apple, without having to work on it, will be able to take a cut of the profit of each one. My question to you is, does that interest you? It's been one of those things. Roku's doing this now. Sling is doing it. Amazon kind of got this ball really rolling, or at least made it popular with their Amazon channels. And now Apple's doing it. We've known they've been working on this for a few years now. The question is, will this be more like Netflix with a little bit of Amazon channels built in, or will this be more like Amazon channels with a little bit of Netflix built in? But it really does sound like Apple is planning to use their original content to get you to use the app, to get you in that experience so that you will then use it to manage your subscriptions to other services. How many services will come at launch? We don't know. That will be very interesting to see. So my question to you is, would you use a service like this? Do you use Amazon channels? Do you like it? I know one of the things I like about Amazon channels is the easiness of adding and dropping. I get HBO Now for Silicon Valley during just when that runs. I add HBO Now to my Amazon account. It's right there. A couple clicks, add it. A couple clicks, drop it. I don't have to worry about, oh, I hope this service is easy to cancel, right? Because we all know some services can be very hard to cancel. Though nowadays most have made it very easy. So I'm very excited about this. I hope Apple, if they do this, do it right. But I'm mostly interested right now in seeing how far one way or the other it will go. We will have full coverage over at corecarsnews.com, and I will be posting a recap after the event goes live right here on YouTube to let you know my thoughts on it. So we'll be live, of course, on the site, and then immediately after on YouTube. So let me know, though, what do you think of the Apple? Do you think my prediction that's a little bit more, I'm kind of leaning towards it'll be slightly more of a Amazon channels. That doesn't mean it won't have original content, probably partner content from other people streaming for free on it as rumored. Will there be a monthly fee to it that, you know, everybody just missed and got wrong in their prediction saying it was free? I don't know, let me know. But hey, that's the stories for today. Let me know. Leave comments, links in the show notes down below if you want to learn more about them. But I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope spring is treating you really well. We will be back next week with more CoreCard news, tips, tricks, and how-to guides. And also, hey, I have a link to this in the show notes, but we have a survey right now. I'll love it if you could take a minute and answer some questions about the world of cord cutting. These surveys just ask you what kind of services do you use, what kind of devices do you use, and more. And it's really mostly used for our internal purposes to say, hey, what's happening in the world of cord cutting? Because that allows us to not just assume we know what's happening. It allows you to tell us what you're doing in the world of cord cutting. It helps keep our coverage as accurate as possible when we do it. So we'll love to hear from you. The survey takes not even 5 minutes, just a handful of questions about the devices you use, what streaming services you use, do you use an antenna, and more. Link to that down in the show notes. We'll love to hear from you. And take care. Have a great spring. Have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.